Hello and welcome to Limelight. This is I believe one of the November entries, the November entries. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really know much about it except that there is supposed to be a deer who is a character, and I believe that it's going to be sort of like a murder mystery type deal. I'm not exactly sure if it's like a stage play or like an actual thing that's going on because I mean, you can see some seats and this is like a theater. I can't tell if this is a movie theater or a stage theater, but I guess it's movie theater. Anyways, um so that's pretty much it. I don't know if the deer is going to be well the buck is going to be the protagonist or just one of the other characters. Um that's Actually, that's pretty much it. I really don't know much more than that. So I'm pretty much going blind in. But yeah. Anyway, so I guess let's just start the game. Coming back from a leave of absence after such a traumatic event, I was expecting a little more sympathy. Maybe not even that, but at least some attention. Odd looks and whispers about how I'm the dude who found his roommate's dead body. You'd think that it would have made a bigger deal. But there's been very little of that. I guess most of the student body moved on pretty easily. Most. 1 year may have been enough time for most people to forget about Luke, but his sister and ex-boyfriend are determined to hold a sort of memorial party slash tribute on what would have been his birthday. I really should skip it. I don't even know how to dress. Do I get on with something formal because it's a memorial or casual because it's a movie theater? What if I wear something that looks too cheery? Robbie regards me with a serious expression. Dude, you don't have to attend if it's too much. No, it's fine. I think it's a nice idea. Robbie is the only one that I've really interacted with in the past couple of months, and I'm grateful that he's looking out for me like this. He always has, I suppose, ever since we were in middle school. Know who else might be coming? Let's see. Joy, David, obviously, myself, you, I think some other people that were doing a project with Luke before. You know. Anyway, yeah, a bunch of his classmates. Probably some randos who'd want to go to a free event at a theater. I don't know. Brody? The golden retriever sighs. Really, dude? Ollie, that man's a loser. What? No, he's not. He's on the baseball team. Okay, and? I swear last week I saw him getting bullied by a little girl. What? Yeah, on the quad. She made him give her a whole bag of marshmallows that he was carrying. Tss. He's just nice with kids. No, she was yelling at him, and he looked mortified. Probably just his sister. She was a lamb. Adopted? The golden retriever rolls his eyes. Anyway, yeah, I think Joy invited him. Nice. I ignore his stare, basking in the momentary bliss. Brody is by far the friendliest guy that I've met on campus, and very easy on the eyes, so his presence will be welcome indeed. The fact that the old Limelight cinema still hasn't been demolished is a mystery to me. And from what Luke told me, it was built in the 70s by a European cinemaphile and was the first place in town that supported 8mm movies. Someone kept paying the bills and sometimes screened amateur movies, but besides that, it was practically abandoned, too far from town, and there are cheaper and better quality movie theaters at any mall. Luke was obsessed with the place, but he never brought me here. Shame. It would have been a nice spot for a date. Ignoring that, we never actually dated. The inside of the theater is a bit more well kept than I imagined, the smell of mold and visible dust over the decorations notwithstanding. While Robbie heads further in to help with the prep, I spot Brody near the popcorn machine talking with some jock dude. He waves at me with a bag of corn in his hand, wearing his typical goofy smile. Ollie, it's been a while. They assigned us to make popcorn. In other words, Luke's sister and ex-boyfriend got tired of Brody talking, so they came up with an excuse to keep him busy. How's it going? All good, all good. This is Jeremy. Jeremy, this is Oliver. I keep trying to keep the annoyance off my face as I shake the dude's hand. Why is he here right now? It better not be a boyfriend. First time that I've seen him, at least, which is probably a good sign. Either way, this, whatever his name was, needs to stay out of my sight. There, much better. Robbie mentioned seeing you recently with your sister? Brody's expression darkens as his eyes dart around the theater. Oh, that was actually one of Coach's daughters. He looks around again with a fearful expression. She's a terror. Stay away if you see her on campus. I nod sympathetically, trying not to laugh. Just then, Robbie reappears to usher us inside. Brody and his buddy head over to the rest of the baseball team. Oh, thank God. This should mean that the wolf wasn't here with anyone special, just another one of his teammates. Although I bet most of them had forgotten about the players' recruitment commercial that Luke recorded for them and are only here because Brody made them come. I sit next to Joy, almost exactly in the middle row. Thanks for coming, Oliver. Hey, Joy. Good to see you. I squirm a little in my seat as an awkward silence settles over us. We really only had something to talk about with Luke around. The few times that we saw each other after his death, we ended up having nothing, conversations about the weather or whatever. Where's David? In the projection room, setting the recording up. She chuckles to herself. Luke would be mad at me for not using the right cinema terms. We would be in for an hour-long lecture about how projectors work. Yeah. It was so boring before, but now I'd love to hear him talk about anything. Even about how streaming is killing prestige movies. I would even have my own takes. There was an awkward silence. Me and David spent the last couple of months watching anything that we knew Luke would enjoy. I guess it's nice that he's there for you. I guess. I'm not gonna ask how you are because even I've gotten tired of hearing that question from my family. But if you want to talk, I'm always here. I never knew how to answer that. I honestly don't know if we were actually helping each other or just being miserable together. Sometimes I blame myself for not seeing that Luke needed help. Sometimes I blame David. No one saw what he was going through. He hid it too well. Still, I should have noticed that he wanted to, do what he did. I could say that it's not her fault because it really wasn't, but I know from experience that hearing that doesn't change a thing. I know it's hard, but we gotta move forward. To where though? I don't know. Graduation? I only got into the music major to help Luke with soundtracks for his movies. I guess I can teach at a school or something. At least, it's better than just waiting for death with my parents. You'll make a good teacher. She smiles. Joy has such a pretty smile. She and Luke obviously always looked like each other, but when she smiled, it's like seeing Luke again. There's still time if you want to change your major, though. I wouldn't know what else to do. That's when we see David emerge at the top of the stairs. He sprints down to the bottom and gets up in front of the screen. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. Tonight we're remembering someone who was taken far too early from us. Luke, a great filmmaker, a wonderful classmate, and a true friend. He closes his eyes for a moment. In the arms of the angels. Tonight would have been his birthday, so in his honor, we'll be screening his movies. Luke had a great respect for the tradition of movie theaters, so in keeping with that, I'm going to ask everyone to be quiet during the showings. I'll also be gathering up everyone's phones until after it's over. There are audible groans throughout the room, but people begrudgingly comply as David starts to go around with a small tray. I exchange a brief greeting with him as he approaches. After that's done, he once again thanks everyone for coming and heads our way. The whole room goes quiet as everything momentarily goes dark, only for the darkness to be pierced by the bright light of the projector. A few seconds later, Robbie appears to sit next to me, while David takes his seat next to Joy. He shushes some of the guests again as one of Luke's home movies starts playing. The recording has a shaky camera and is focused on grass. Then a much younger Luke appears, dressed in a red superhero armor, chasing a fox girl covered in a blanket and holding a plastic sword. "Vile villain, I'll catch you. Not if I do this." She points the sword at him and, well fitting for an 11-year-old trying to do visual effects, a crayon-drawn green ray comes out of it. It's honestly really cute. The ray flows through still shots of the sky until it hits Luke. "Your magic is no match for my armor." The same shot is now flipped around to show that it's hitting the girl, who has thrown herself to the ground. She explodes, a very weak smoke bomb, and the recording ends with a rough cut to the now empty ground. "You won't escape next time, Winter Girl." Most of the other home movies are like that, just children pretending to be heroes. I glance at Joy, who is watching the screen with a half smile. David, on the other hand, looks like he's about to cry again. Ugh. I hope he doesn't break into sobs in the middle of all of this. He would, the drama queen. Luke didn't even date him for that long. Ugh. Meanwhile, some of Luke's newer projects are playing. Some recordings from the campus, a short adaptation of an Edgar Allan Poe story, then the project that he was working on before everything happened. An indie horror movie that he had been so excited to make. Psst, David. I jump a little as I realize that Brody has moved to the row behind us and is now leaning forward to whisper loudly in David's ear. "Mind if Jeremy hangs with us afterwards? He's cool, I promise." Oh my god, why? Robbie told me that we'd have some drinks together after the screening, but it was supposed to be Luke's close friends. I hope David can be useful for once and say no. Sure, no problem. God damn it. Everyone turns to look at me. Sorry, hit my shin. Right, cool. Going back to my seat now. God damn it. I sullenly stare at the screen. The big reveal of the killer's identity was never filmed, so after the last scene, David and Joy added a picture with the cast of the project and his closest friends. I remember that day pretty well. It was the first day of shooting, and he asked me to appear as an extra. The way Luke could make friends with different people so easily was amazing. There wasn't a single person on campus who didn't know him. He was like that, someone everybody wanted to be around. And he looks so good in the photo too. Man. He was always around people. All it took was a night alone for him to end everything. With that being the last of the home movies, David turns the light back on and thanks everyone for coming together to remember Luke. "The phones are in the foyer. Don't forget to pick yours up." People start shuffling out with only Brody and that other guy approaching our group. Robbie elbows me lightly in the rib. "Stop glaring." Right. But man, this sucks. It's like Luke getting together with David all over again. Uh-huh. It's the worst. I remember when Luke first told me about it, I felt like I could kill somebody. Uh-huh. Just really reach inside, tear the skin off, and really... Okay, Hannibal Lecter, let's pump the brakes there. Sorry. Anyway, I can't believe nobody came up to say anything. Like, I found him, dude. Robbie sighs and pats my shoulder. "Come on, we have some tequila. That should cheer you up." I follow the golden retriever to the others, who've now moved to the bottom of the theater, near the screen. Brody hands us plastic cups while David unloads his backpack full of booze. Surprised that we could just stay here. "Oh, I'm friends with the owner." "Well, Robbie too." "Yeah, he is a very cool guy. By far the best conversation partner that I've had when it comes to classic movies." I raise an eyebrow at him. He's never mentioned being friends with the owner to me. Yep. So it's all chill. We can stay as long as we want. Cool, cool. Man, that last movie really was something, eh? I mean, not really my cup of tea. Kinda subdued, right? Luke was going for a more psychological horror. Right, right. I guess I'm more old school. Where's the gore, the guts, you know? Plus, nowadays it's all about true crime anyway. I didn't know that you had such strong opinions about horror movies. Nah, I mean, I watch them, but only sometimes. Yeah? What's your favorite scary movie? Oh, the first one for sure. Robbie blinks at the wolf in disbelief while I struggle to contain my laughter. I throw an arm over the golden retriever's shoulder. Well, the two of us, we appreciate his earlier work more. Team superhero movies all the way. It wasn't really superheroes. Shh, MCU has wizards too. Exactly, and they're awesome. Come to think of it, lately they've been leaning more into horror. Bet Luke would have directed one of them. Oh, come on. Luke would have never made that kind of slop. Bro, I hate you. Luke was trying to do something serious here, explore queer themes in novel ways. Queer? The characters were gay? I thought the subtext was pretty clear. Wait, but isn't that homophobic? David sputters. How was that homophobic? Dunno, man. All those gays dying? I remember hearing about it. Bury your fags or something. Isn't that bad? David looks near apoplectic. It's bad when queer characters are discarded from the narrative because they are queer and thus inconvenient to the authors. It doesn't just refer to queer characters dying. Okay, man, whatever you say. Seeing David this outrage is pretty funny. Still, he seems to take a deep breath and let it go. The conversation moves on, and as we continue to drink, everyone shares their favorite memories with Luke. Well, except the rando that Brody brought here, who clearly barely knew Luke. Not that it stops him from yapping. Fortunately, I managed to shift just enough away from him, and by extension, David and Robbie, his sacrifice will not be forgotten, that we break into two small groups instead. Hey, Joy, do you know how the movie was supposed to end? Oh, I think the bull was going to get sacrificed and bleed out in the lead's arms. Damn, that's disappointing. How so? Dunno. I don't like it when there's only one survivor in this kind of stuff. I feel bad for them. I'd rather see two people be brought closer together through the trauma, you know? Joy is giving the wolf an odd look. Might be for the best to switch topics. Do you know who the killer was going to be? I don't think that it was a real killer. Luke said that it was more of a metaphor, I guess. Oh, come on. That's just lame. Okay, Joy is definitely getting annoyed now. Before she can say anything, though, I suddenly notice that something is playing on the screen again. Sorry to interrupt, but, is anyone else hearing this? I point to the screen. Whatever is in the footage, it seems to be very far away at least. Maybe a tree? Or a puppet? A scarecrow? Then, almost like a cheap jump scare, it abruptly increases in size. Oh fuck. I see the image that won't leave my head. Our old room, with all of his posters and action figures, distorted once again by Luke's body hanging in the middle of it. A numbness spreads through my body. I'm only distantly aware of Joy letting out a sob under David's outraged yelling. What the fuck? Who did this? Before anyone can say anything, he storms off in the direction of the projection room. Joy, meanwhile, tears her gaze off of the screen and rushes out into the foyer. I'll go make sure she's okay. Brody's jock friend says something that I don't quite register before he follows after Robbie. I feel the weight of someone putting a hand on my shoulder. Brody looks surprised, but only an insane person wouldn't be after seeing something so fucked up. Just to be sure. That wasn't part of the movie, right? After a momentary silence, I choke out a laugh. I'm not sure if that was a genuine question or if he was just trying to crack a joke to lighten the mood. Some fucker probably trying to play a prank. It better not have been someone from the team or I'll crack their fucking skulls. Shit, man. I try to ignore the awful noises coming from the sound system. I'm not at all that surprised that someone would have this footage. A bunch of people rushed to my room when I screamed and stumbled out after finding the body. Of course, they'd whip out their phones. Except, I look back to the screen, my mind racing. Something is wrong. The footage is pretty, the only source of light being the screen of Luke's laptop on the moon. It was morning. When I found Luke, it was morning. This video was taken before I found him. Oh, that's weird. I barely hear him. It's like I'm reliving that night 1 year ago when everything went to shit. The night that I lost any chance of being with Luke. We didn't spend much time together that day, only had breakfast with him. Then in the evening, I went out to a party at Robbie's dorm. I couldn't find my keycard and Luke wasn't answering, so I spent the night at Robbie's room while he went out to hook up with some dude. Luke still wouldn't reply in the morning. I had to go pick up a temporary replacement card until I found my own. I never did. I found something else in our suite. Hard to count how many times that I've beat myself over losing my keycard and not getting there earlier that night. But now that I'm having a very different kind of horrific thought. What if somebody else... What the fuck? No, I'm being dumb. That doesn't make sense. None of this shit makes any sense. His suicide never made any sense either. But it's like they said, he was a very depressed person who learned how to mask it. But how was I seeing the video that was clearly taken before I unlocked the door? Brody, I think somebody killed Luke. Yeah, man, the cops would have found evidence of that. I guess so. I don't know. Brody throws an arm around me and gently turns me away from the screen. Fuck, man. If I knew something like this was gonna happen, I would have invited you to a normal theater. Whoa, what? My brain short circuits. Me? To the theater? Me invited to movie? Brody invite theater? Well, that was effective at jolting me out of whatever horrible train of thought I was experiencing just now. What was that all about? Who cares? Brody wanted to take me out somewhere? No, wait. I'm rushing to conclusions. He didn't say me specifically. I need to stay calm. Better not scare him off. That would have been nice, I guess. But it's nice of you to come for David and Joy. Well, honestly, it was mostly for you. I mean, I knew this night would be a bummer even without, this. So I wanted to make sure that you had good company. Squee? Does this mean... That's very nice of you. Come on, let's go outside and at least grab some popcorn or something before the others get back. So, what about that, friend of yours? Are you two, Oh, nah, he's just friends. He's getting over a bad breakup, so I didn't want to leave him alone either. Okay, then. Maybe Brody is just a nice guy and I shouldn't read too much into this. God damn it. Should I say something? Be more direct? I've been crushing on this man for quite a while now, but I never thought that he'd be into me. I can't deal with the rejection right now. I really can't. That being said, Brody is staring at me almost expectingly. When I don't say anything, he audibly exhales through his nose and gives me a half smile. Are you seeing anyone? I know you and Robbie are very close. I'm sure that he was your rock during this whole thing. Robbie has been my best friend since middle school, but nah, we've never really been that way. Definitely just friends. Yeah, lots of that going around. Right? Yeah. We're standing awfully close to each other right now. The rest of our group appears from around the corner. Seeing us, Robbie raises an eyebrow in my direction before looking around. Oh, hey. Joy, are you alright? Yeah, sorry. I just need a moment after seeing that, so I ran off to the bathroom. We all nod in sympathy. Despite her words, she looks far from alright, but there is no point in talking about it right now. Where's David? Come to think of it, where is David? It's been a while. Don't know. He hasn't come back. I thought he might have joined you guys. Nope. I guess he's probably still in the projection room. We should get him, and probably just go back to campus. Maybe gather some other night in one of the rooms for the rest of the drinks. Yes, that would be for the best. I'll go get him. She heads towards the stairway leading to the second floor of the building before we can object. The projection room is the second door to the right. Joy nods as she ascends the stairs. Think he found the prankster? Would have been a very dumb one if he stayed inside the room. Yeah, probably hit the button and ran off immediately. Robbie shrugs. A scream echoes from upstairs. For a split second, we all stand frozen before every single one explodes into motion in a rush to get to the stairs. The second floor is dimly lit, but Robbie leads the charge straight towards the projection room. Joy, are you okay? There is no response to Brody's shout, but in the next second, we all stand crowded at the door. Joy is standing there trembling all over. Robbie takes a gulp and gently pushes her to the side, opening the way for the rest of us to peer into the room. There, lying on the floor, is David, splattered with blood, a horrid gash running down the side of his face. The vixen blubbers something incoherent, but it's drowned out as Brody's idiot friend starts shouting. Oh my fucking god, is he dead? Robbie hesitantly approaches the body and kneels briefly down. I think so. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. We need to get out of here. He stumbles back the way we came. After a moment, we all follow. Brody runs straight to the front door and pushes on it. It barely budges. Huh? He pushes again, seeming to put his whole weight on it. I think that David locked the doors earlier. Joy is sobbing as she leans on the counter while Brody's friend is fully freaking out. What the fuck? What the fuck? We all need to call the cops. Robert, Brody, and I exchange panic looks. We never got our phones back. After a second, the others seem to realize it too. No, hold on a minute. None of us have our phones. Okay, calm down. Are we sure that David locked all the doors? He tries to push on them again, then frustrated he gives them a solid kick for good measure. Without success. Yeah, the owner asked us to lock up so nobody would randomly wander in. Fuck. Alright, there's gotta be a window somewhere. Robbie shakes his head. Are you kidding me? Dude, calm down. Calm down? Calm down? Brody hits him upside the head. My hero. David gathered up all our phones. Anyone remember where he put them? He said that they were in the foyer when the others were leaving, no? He did, but it's clear that none of us could see them here right now. He could have had one on him. Let's go and check. Robbie and I will go back to the projection room. You guys check the theater room. Maybe somebody's outside? Hello? Hello? He bangs loudly on the door. Okay, how about you keep doing that? We could use someone on the outside to call the police in case we can't find the phones. He nods shakily as he keeps banging on the metal with his fists and feet. Brody, meanwhile, gingerly holds Joy's hand as he guides her towards the theater room. It doesn't look like she'll be much help in the search. Robbie and I return to the room from earlier, only to freeze in the doorway. David is gone. What the fuck? David? David? There's no response. It's as if the body just vanished. except that there's still blood on the carpet. It's also only now that I notice the old-timey projector that's collapsed nearby with some of the blood on a sharp edge. Blood? Are you sure he's dead? I guess not. Is that even blood? Maybe it's like ketchup or something. Can you give it a whiff? Dude, no. What the hell? I'm not crouching down and smell all that. Come on, Robbie. Your sense of smell is way better than mine. He rolls his eyes and sniffs the air. It smells metallic in here. Coppery. Is that good enough? I nod shakily. Do you think that he's pranking us? This isn't funny. Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's one of those situations where a dude torments his friends because of his grief for a lost loved one or something. Taking a second look around, Robbie then approaches the door and cups his hands around his mouth and starts shouting as loudly as he can. David, this isn't fucking funny. There seems to be some kind of distant response, but it's muffled. What? What's happening? David isn't here. Well, fuck. Robbie lowers his arms and leans his head forward. Well, there's more of the blood, ketchup, whatever it is, going out into the hallway. As I stand next to him, I indeed see a few drops of red liquid on the tiled floor. If this is really a prank, I'm going to strangle him. Get in line. It didn't take long for Jeremy to decide that banging on the door was pointless. Why did he even come to the stupid place? He barely knew the dude that died. He only really came in case Brody started feeling emotional and needed his feelings fucked away. Not that Jeremy was gay. He was just a good friend like that. And look where it got him. At least he was supposed to be safe. He had nothing to do with these people, so even if a crazy killer or something was attacking them, he wasn't a target, right? Shit, but that meant Brody was a target. He couldn't let Brody die, the best player in their team and just too hot to get killed by a psycho loser. Well, if that David dude wasn't there, then this was probably some stupid prank. Still, it was better not to take any chances. Best to get those doors open as soon as possible. With all the rage in his heart, Jeremy put his hands around the popcorn maker. He could hear and see Brody dress up as his personal trainer screaming, "You can do it!" He gritted his teeth and lifted the machine. He was unstoppable. Jeremy wasn't a simple jock carrying the popcorn maker to the exit door. He felt like an Olympic athlete. He heaved as he threw the machine at the door, expecting it to break open, only for the machine to shatter to pieces instead. Jeremy let out a frustrated roar as the pan hit him. Of course a fucking old popcorn maker wouldn't be able to free him. Even Brody couldn't break the door with his strong body. There was a rush of footsteps coming in his direction. Jeremy supposed someone was coming to check on him after the commotion. He hoped that they would found their phones so that they could finally get out of this place. Either way, he had to say something to not look dumb. Heyo, it was just these janky-ass popcorn machines. Someone didn't set them up properly and it fell. Someone was moving in the distance, but it was kinda hard to make out who it was in the dim lighting. Had to be Brody. The figure was tall and bulky and... Jeremy collapsed to the floor, groaning as a shiny baseball bat hit his stomach. Something masked was looming over him. Even as he gasped for air, Jeremy lashed out with his legs, trying to kick the assailant. The masked figure took that opportunity to bash him in the legs. Jeremy tried to scream, but his lungs still refused to take any air in. He had broken his arm a few years ago after falling in a match. He still remembered the agony whenever someone else touched the broken part by accident. But that was nothing compared to the agony of something hitting a broken bone repeatedly. He didn't know what was worse, the pain he felt in the exact spot that the baseball bat kept hitting and breaking even more of his bone, or how the pain shot up through his whole spine. Each time he dared to think that everything was a nightmare, his body made sure that it was real. He was on the verge of blacking out. The masked figure actually stopped, letting Jeremy drag his body on the floor with his arms. The feeling of bone fragments grinding against each other made him want to give up and beg that the killer to finish it. Yet, something inside Jeremy forced him to keep going. This couldn't be the end. Brody was nearby. Jeremy swore that he could hear him. Or maybe it was just Brody's voice inside of his head telling him to move, just to move. One hand, then the other. Ignore the blood coming from your fingertips. Just move. He crawled to the door. Feebly tried to push it open. The fucking thing wouldn't budge. Jeremy rolled to his back, groaning, sobbing. Wait. You can't. The horrible figure stood still, as if letting him continue. I'm gay. You can't. It'd be bury your gaze. It tilted its head. The killer was considering Jeremy's words. Then, everyone here is a faggot. The search so far has been unproductive. There are more rooms on the second floor, but we found neither David nor anything else of interest. Check the janitor's closet, some kind of storage room full of old film reels and bulky equipment, both empty. The trail of blood droplets didn't really guide us anywhere in particular either. We enter what is clearly the owner's office, which is surprisingly unlocked. Hoping to at least find extra keys to the front door, we start combing through the shelves and drawers. I hope Joy and Brody are having better luck with their search. Unless David is pulling this shit on us, he probably hid them somewhere else that we couldn't find him. I can't wait to punch him in the mouth for what he's putting Joy through. Robbie pauses, looking at me with a gleam in his eye. Yeah, I'm sure that's the only reason you want to punch him. Oh, give me a break. If they hadn't gotten together, Luke could have still been here. My God, would you get over it already? I thought you were into that baseball jock now. I am, but my point stands. Yeah, I somehow doubt that. The fox was depressed, right? I let out a dejected sigh. I guess so, but I don't know. I could have done something. Well, maybe. He gives me a warm smile. You do have a way about you. Honestly, I don't understand how someone like you could fall for Brody though. Like, really? Come on, he's nice, and big and strong and muscular. You're kind of repeating yourself there. I swear, man. I really think that we had a moment earlier, when you and that dipshit friend of his were with Joy. Oh yeah? I think he's into me. I feel like I should say something. Well, he's still single and stuff. I wish that I had said something to Luke before it was too late. Yeah, I know that feeling. I look at him, surprised. Robbie rarely talks about his love life, even though we've both known each other's sexualities for ages. He's just not the kind to share much when it comes to romance. Some kind of crushing sound comes from far away. What do you think that was? Don't know. We probably shouldn't smash up the place while we were looking for David. I go to the door and shout into the hallway. Hey, everything all right down there? There's no response. With a shrug, I turn to look at Robbie, who seems to be looking through a file rack. I don't think that we'll be finding the keys here. Fuck, man. Maybe he locked us in here until tomorrow? That better not be it. I have a quiz in the morning. Come on, I guess that we should find the others, see if they have found the phones. Nodding, I lead the way out into the hallway. As we're descending the stairs, I notice that one of the popcorn machines has been tilted off its perch. Its piece is now scattered across the floor. I'm about to crack a joke about it as something else comes into view behind the counter. Slumped against the door is Brody's jock friend. His lifeless eyes stare into the empty distance as blood trickles from his half-open snout. The head is oddly askew, not at all how it should be. I feel bile rise to my throat, and I have to lean on the counter so my legs don't give out. What the fuck? The words come out in a whisper. Then Robbie grabs me forcefully and pulls me towards the entrance to the theater room. Joy! Brody! Joy! We stumble through the doors. The room is still fully lit. I can see our backpacks littered on the floor in front of the small stage. Guys, where the fuck are you? Joy and Brody rush inside from the door on the side of the screen, looking panicked. What happened? Are you two alright? It's Jared. Huh? Who's Jared? John? The wolf regards me with a confused expression. Your friend? He's dead out there. Brody works his mouth, but no sounds emerge. Joy seems to be repeating the word no over and over again in a small voice. The wolf suddenly charges up the stairs and Robert and I have to practically jump out of the way. An anguished shout from Brody follows. The rest of us return to the scene to find him kneeling next to the guy whose name I don't really care to remember. Oh my god. No. Please, please. What? How? We found him like this just moments ago. Brody, I'm so sorry. The wolf shakes his head as if in denial of what he's seeing. What the fuck is happening? Did you find a phone on David? Robbie and I both shake our heads. Actually, David wasn't there anymore. Joy whimpers. What do you mean? He's just gone? Yeah, nobody was there when we returned. Meanwhile, Brody taps the corpse on the shoulder, then shakes him a little, like you try to wake somebody sleeping. I hate seeing the wolf like this. Turning away from the sight, I start speaking with hushed tones to Robbie. Okay, we're clearly in like a defender's situation. Like, shit gets dark, but someone swoops in with a plan. I think we have 2 corpses on our hands. It's too dark to be a superhero show. I mean, these shows got pretty damn dark, but well, we could be in, what, a Punisher episode? I think we're dealing with different genre here, bud. With different rules. No hero coming, no third act team up. We just found a body and you were talking about movies? Are you fucking going insane? Sorry. I was just trying to lighten the mood for Robbie and, it's really hard to contain my panic. There's some unhinged maniac, most likely my dead roommate's ex-boyfriend, who trapped us in here. And speaking of horror movies, I stare at Joy. What? You're the only woman here. So? What is he doing, Joy? Don't you get it? You're the final girl. Robbie squints thoughtfully, and Joy, who has now stopped sobbing, is staring at me like I've grown a second head. We're all gonna get killed so that you can survive. David must have gone insane from grief, and now he's finishing Luke's movie. What the fuck are you talking about? I feel like nowadays a final girl is more likely to be unhinged herself, doing the kills, you know. Like, is it just me or is this whole concept kind of outdated? You're both out of your fucking minds. Alright, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, I'm just saying. David was gone. He must be the one doing all of this. He had the keys to everything. He took our phones. He's clearly snapped. And you said that you two spent this whole time together. Joy leaps to her feet, tears in her eyes. Fuck you two fucking assholes. Before I can say anything else, she turns on her heels and dashes down the hallway towards the bathrooms. Joy, wait! Joy! Oh no, I fucked up badly. I sprint after her as Brody shouts something at the both of us. Joy crashes through the woman's bathroom door and slams it in my face. Robbie runs up to me, apparently having chased after us. I pound on the door. Joy, I'm sorry. I just panicked. I didn't mean any of that shit. She doesn't reply. As I raise my hand to pound my fist on the door again, Robbie taps my shoulder. I turn my head to look at him and see the golden retriever staring past me in wide-eyed horror. I whirl my head to see what he's looking at. A dark figure in a flowing black robe wearing a terrifying mask, and a wicked long knife clutched in his hand, ready to strike. For a terrible moment, we all stand there, staring at each other from the opposite ends of the hallway. Then he moves. Run! Robbie gives me a shove and I hurl down the hallway with the golden retriever hot on my heels. I almost trip and fall as we round the corner, but somehow Robbie seems to pull me from the brink and we both skid and turn to dash up the stairs. Hide, now! I barely hear his voice over the sound of our escape, but I obey instinctively, diving into the still open janitor closet while Robbie continues running. Wait, no. Did I just abandon my best friend? I grasp the door handle, but my trembling hand freezes there. Too terrified to turn it. Instead, I hunched over, trying to contain my shaking as I put my ear to the door. The footsteps have faded, and it seems to be quiet. Robbie, please be okay, please. Joy dried her face, having moments ago washed down her face stained with tears. She couldn't tell if she was more angry or terrified. Both were justified, but she now regretted running off like that. That had been stupid. No more stupid than those two jerkasses insinuating that she was somehow involved in what was happening, but stupid nonetheless. She needed to get back to the group though, and fast. They needed to stick together. Joy thought that she heard Robbie shout to run earlier, and there was definitely some commotion outside, but now, as she listened at the door, all seemed quiet. Finding Brody was the main priority right now. Hopefully, he'd be back from where they left him. She didn't think that he followed the other two. Carefully, slowly, she swung the door open. The hallway was empty. With a shudder, she breathed out and started to close the door just as slowly. She screamed as a knife swung at her from behind the door. Somebody had been standing behind it. The dark figure drew its arm back for another slash, and she screamed again. But she managed to duck, and the blade scraped against the wall behind them. The corridor stretched ahead, cheap wallpaper peeling in long strips that caught at her shoulders. Joy ran. The sound of breathing, heavy and steady, sounded worse than a funeral march. Even if the knife had only grazed her, it still burned and hurt more than she ever thought. She rounded the corner, wondering how long these hallways could be, only to be faced with identical doors. She grabbed the first handle, locked. She fell inside through the third door and slammed it shut. Her lungs felt like they were about to burst out of her. Her eyes were watering and she was shaking so badly that it was hard to stay upright, but still cast a look around the room to find anything to something herself. To hide? No. I don't know what that says, it's blocked, sorry. How fitting for a piano to be where she would die. She could see some stairs on the other side of the room. She listened for a moment, trying to decide if she should stay leaning against the door to prevent it opening, or if it was safe to take a step forward. The chase had calmed down. She could only feel slow footsteps somewhere in the hallway. Maybe she would be safe. Maybe that person got distracted with something. The footsteps stopped. Praying that they'd just go away, Joy frantically considered her options. Was it better to put the chair, which looked so fragile, against the door, or climb over the furniture to reach the stairs? It didn't matter in the end. Something slammed into the door. She screamed as the impact made her lurch forward, almost sending her flying into the room. Yet somehow, she not only managed to not fall to the floor, but grabbed the flimsy chair. Using that momentum, Joy swung it around and threw it towards the door, hitting the figure in the chest. Through the primal terror, she felt something else burning in her chest. In the reflection on a mirror standing in the room, she saw someone who didn't look like the simple Joy she had known all her life. She wanted to live simply because she wanted to, not because of her parents, not because of Luke. She allowed herself to be selfish for once. She threw the box full of fabrics and papers, which seemed to slow the killer just a little more. With enough of the patch clear for her to cross the stairs, she did so without looking behind. And yet, she was fully aware of the footsteps as they continued faster and heavier while she climbed. The stairs couldn't go on for much longer, even if the whole theater felt like an endless labyrinth. She looked at the spiral of the stairs and turned. The killer was getting closer and closer. Fuck music, fuck all of this. It wasn't too late. She'd get away from him, from all of these assholes. She'd be somebody else, her own self. She grasped the handles on the only door at the end, and when that wasn't enough to open it, she kicked it, threw herself to the harsh metal door. She felt the pain of something sharp piercing her side, trying to fill the space of the meat that had just been cut. It wasn't cutting her easily, so they removed the knife from the tiny cut and shoved it again. Then they did it again. And again. The cut was warm. It was burning. She tasted blood in her mouth. More blood than any movie Luke had made her watch. Luke. It always came down to Luke, didn't it? She was staring at the bottom of the spiral. The way that she forced a smile, with blood running through her teeth, was enough to make the killer stop for a second. With the last of her strength, she threw herself down the stairs. She was no final girl, but her death would be hers. The pain that had felt so unbearable disappeared. Joy was left in the pool of her own blood while the killer went to whoever they wanted to kill next. They both knew that it was over, nothing else to be done. Sing your song. That so familiar voice rang in her ears. There was no seeing all her memories, much less a white comforting light. It never felt like her song, and it wouldn't fit there anyways. She thought about starting again a million miles away. She would find a way. It's quiet out there. I sit, leaning against the door, shaking. Did I leave Robbie to die? No. He would have found a hiding place too. God, I'm such a shitty friend. And Brody? What if he's hurt? I can't bear the idea of him dying here, not like this. Not when he all but asked me out. At least, I think that's what happened earlier. But I need to find Robbie first. Joy should be safe in the bathroom, at least. I hope. I suppose that I should go to her first. I know where she is after all. Cracking the door open and peeking outside, I find the hallway empty. I quietly make my way back to the stairs, then down to the first floor. No sign of Brody at the entrance area. At least there doesn't seem to be any more blood there. With that, I sneak towards the bathrooms. Nobody appears. I'm too scared to shout anyone's name. Approaching the woman's bathroom, I give it a quiet knock. Joy? Are you there? I speak in a small voice, but hopefully loud enough that she can hear me. As I'm about to repeat the process, my eyes fall to the floor and I freeze. There's a trail of blood leading further down the corridor. Oh fuck. No. I can see where a shoe has smeared some of it. At least it doesn't seem to be a ton of blood. Maybe they outran the killer? I catch myself turning to go into the opposite direction where I just came from, but then I freeze. What if they need my help? Robbie saved me, but I can't just cower in a dark alcove somewhere. I start to follow the trail of blood. They lead to a part of the building that I haven't seen yet, somewhere in the back. More rooms here. One of the doors is ajar. Tremulously, I step closer to peer inside. It's a huge mess. Splintered furniture, pieces of paper, and cardboard scattered all around. There are stairs on the other side. A body on the floor, lying in a pool of blood. And someone standing over Joy's corpse. With a bloodied knife in his hand. A pathetic whimper escapes my throat before I can contain it. Brody turns to look in my direction, his eyes wide. More blood drips from the knife to the floor. I turn and run. Ollie! Wait, Ollie! No, why? How? I feel the sting of tears, but I forcefully wipe them from my face. Hiding place first. I can hear Brody running after me. If he catches up, I will die. At least I know the fucking bathroom doors can be locked. Still, I try to be as quiet as I dash into the room where Joy had hidden earlier. Ollie, it's not what it looks like. I never hurt you. My heart jumps into my throat as I realize that the footsteps are slowing. He sounds almost pathetic, defeated. I never hurt you. But the footsteps don't stop entirely. He seems to keep going, turning the corner. Soon the sound fades. But the momentary reprieve does nothing to calm me down. How could Brody do this? Why? He's such a nice guy. He sounded so fucking sincere right now. So why? Unless he was sincere. I'd rather see two people be brought closer together through the trauma. That's what he said, wasn't it? Could he? It's almost too much to think about. But then again, love can get you to do some insane shit. A little extreme, perhaps. Okay, way too extreme. But I want so badly to believe that he wouldn't hurt me, just like he said. No, I do believe him. But that means that I need to stop him before he hurts Robbie. Unless he has already done so, but I don't want to even think about that. No, he'll stop. If I tell him to, he will. I open the door and run to the front of the theater. He's not here. Brody, please, come talk to me. I shouldn't have run. I listen for a response. For a moment, all is quiet. But then I hear something from inside the theater room. I push the door open, then freeze. He's standing there on the stage, framed by the screen, wearing that costume from earlier. I hesitate, then let go of the door and start descending the stairs. The figure doesn't move, doesn't say a word. I swallow, hesitating again before I start speaking. Brody, please, you can stop now. I know why you did this. At least I think I understand. It's what you said earlier, isn't it? To bring us closer together. Well, you don't need to. I really, really like you already. I was just too much of a coward to say it to you before. But this? I mean, you didn't have to do all of this. But it's fine. I mean, not fine, you killed people. But we can get past it. I'm sorry that I pushed you into this. Truly I am. The odd mask continues to stare at me, still no motion. Please, let's just... The door behind me swings open. I whirl around and stare in shock as Brody emerges into the room. Oh, thank God. I thought that I heard you in here. He notices the masked figure on the stage and freezes. Wait a second. What? Oh, for fuck's sake. Brody topples forward, suddenly as a red spot blooms in his chest. The knife clatters to the floor only a moment before the wolf's body falls with a thud and slides down a couple of steps. I scream in horror, rushing over to Brody's side. Fuck. He's still breathing, I think. No, come on. Brody, stay with me. My heartbeat threatens to shatter my ribcage. My spine is as cold as ice. I look up, watching in renewed horror as the dark figure removes the mask. I scream, staggering away from Brody's now undeniably lifeless body. A pool of blood creeps towards me, trickling down the stairs like an inexorable tide. There. He's finally dead. Get up. I'm shaking all over, but I scramble to my feet. I just cannot fucking believe you. He lowers the gun and face palms with his free hand. You're fine with him being a killer? Are you fucking kidding me? Why? My best friend, a killer. No, this has to be some kind of nightmare. Robbie glares at me through his fingers before he lowers his arm. Why? You already figured it out, didn't you? You know exactly why. What? I don't understand. He sighs again. All right, I'll spell it out for you. Because I love you. Because I wanted us to survive a night of terror and murder, so that you would finally fucking see the person who's been by your side all this time. But you just keep falling for these fucking dipshits, don't you? My head is spinning. Why? How? You killed everyone? No. I had a little help. The theater owner didn't take much convincing to participate in a little killing spree. Spice up his business, a little true crime to attract attention. Idiot. Had to put him down, of course. Can't have a psycho like that running around, right? He chuckles mirthlessly and waves his gun at Brody's corpse. Glad that I got to kill this fucker, though. But we were supposed to do it together. Last stand against a mad killer, you and I. Except you went fucking moon-eyed and ruined it. Wait. No. This can't be real. You're not a killer. I stifle a sob as I look at Brody, staring lifelessly at the ceiling. No, he is. You... Why? You never told me anything about having feelings? He regards me with glazed over eyes, his expression completely flat. Oh, but I did. Remember the Halloween party at Alpha Beta Omega our freshman year? I rack my brain for memories of that night, but I can barely even remember attending a frat party that year. Surely I'd recall if Robbie had confessed his feelings. No, I figured. Well, it was pretty late, and you and I ended up on the couch alone. We were both pretty drunk, I guess, and I confessed. His left eye twitches. And you laughed. I don't remember any of that. Yeah, you were more drunk than I was, but I got my answer that night, so I bided my time. But then you fell for him. He clenches his teeth. I can practically feel him grinding them together as he gives me a vicious snarl. Wait, you killed Luke too? Yeah, sure fucking did. And I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand the way that he talked about his projects. I couldn't stand his stupid accent. I couldn't stand the way that he looked at him. This is insane. Am I insane? I've gotta be. How is this fucking happening right now? What? You like this mediocre, boring fucking filmmaking so much? What? You just kept falling for the stupidest morons out there, huh? Robbie, I didn't even like his films. He was just pretty hot, okay? I realize that I've made a mistake as Robbie's eyes twitch again. And then he throws back his head and laughs. It's a hysterical laugh, and the sound makes me shudder. After a long moment, the laughter subsides and Robbie turns his gaze back to me. There's not a hint of amusement on his face. You're just unbelievable, Oliver. I am fucking interesting, goddammit. I have actual taste. I like good movies. I'm smart. I had to pretend to enjoy those fuck-ass Marvel movies that you made me watch. And for what? You didn't even really like Luke, did you? You just wanted his dick. We lived together, of course. I liked him. He was like family. What was his last name? His favorite movie? Age of Ultron? He was a DC fan. Wow. Okay, how did this never come up? I swear Luke and I watched at least one movie together, right? Robbie makes a weird sound, almost like he's wheezing, as he grabs his head with both hands and shakes it. I came to this fucking college for you. I got accepted to Yale and came here. And I didn't even tell you because I didn't want you to feel bad. That's how nice I am. That's how much I care about your feelings. But you just care about who has big muscles, don't you? Robbie, no, that's not... I freeze as he points the gun at me. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. My knees buckle as I fall to the floor, covering my head with my hands as I squeeze my eyes shut. Well, this is it, huh? This is how it ends. I force myself to open one eye and look at my best friend. The pistol is swaying from side to side. Robbie is the one shaking now. I guess it's the best that I could have hoped for. You can bleed out in my arms. That's pretty romantic, no? His gun hand steadies. Fuck. Am I really going to die here? Like this? Shot by my best friend, who apparently had feelings for me all this time, enough to go on a murderous rampage just to get closer to me? Wait. Robbie, wait. I wave my hands frantically, praying that he'll listen. The gunshot that I'm dreading doesn't come. You said it yourself. I was drunk. When you confessed, right? I was drunk. If I had actually known, if you had said something. His hand is shaking again. He lowers the gun just a smidge. Do you know what's actually romantic? This. Us. Right now. I mean, you killed for me. That's... Robbie, that's pretty fucking hot. He blinks, his big, round eyes looking liquid as he lowers the gun a little more. I wish that he had told me before, but... Robbie, we can get past this. I mean, you heard me say it before, right? I can be a killer if I'm the one he killed for. You... Do you mean that? Yes. Of course I do. You're right. You've been by my side all this time. I was just too blinded and stupid to see it. But now, I finally see you. The real you. You've shown me, and I... Robbie, what I see is so beautiful. He sniffles as his hand falls. Robbie stares at the floor, almost like he can't believe what he's hearing. Now's my chance. Carefully, slowly, I slide to the side, knees on the floor. As I do, I serendipitously pick up the knife Brody dropped. He doesn't see me do it. The golden retriever seems almost to be in a trance. He finally looks at me as I rise to my feet and descend to step towards him. This is all I wanted. I know, Robbie. Come here. And just like that, I hug him. He sniffles again, the gun slips out of his hand. And the knife plunges into his back. He makes a choked sound. His grasp around me tightens for a moment, then weakens as his knees wobble. I lower him to a nearby seat, sobbing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He coughs up blood. Why? I topple into a seat next to him. I'm sorry, Robbie. Please know that I meant it. This really is romantic in a way, but you're just not my type. Robbie leans his head back, almost like he's getting ready to take a nap. He closes his eyes. Fuck you. He goes still. So do I. We continue to sit, both lifeless in a way. I wish that we could just watch another movie together. Instead, I'm staring at the empty screen. Epilogue. Half a year since my nightmare. I've been hounded by press, by classmates, by relatives. Survivor of the Limelight massacre, they call me. True enough. The attention isn't all bad either, now that I'm back on campus yet again. Even if it hurts to think about what happened. People who knew Robbie cannot believe what transpired that night. I have trouble believing it too some days. But it did happen. And I need to keep moving forward. Hey Oliver, ready for the exam? I smile at the handsome tiger. Not really, but I'm definitely ready for it to be over. Derek's... Well, he's my type. I take a deep breath. Keep moving forward, right? Hey Derek, do you, wanna, I don't know, go out together sometime? Hey folks, thanks for reading. We hope that you enjoyed our silly little slasher. We certainly enjoyed making it. Limelight was made for the Novembuck 2025 Jam. Huge thanks to everyone who contributed to our project. Give them a follow. Click on the names for links to socials. Korea. Oh, well, that. That was too fast. Anyways, yeah, that was Limelight, a slasher, I guess. And honestly, I kind of wish that Robbie would have killed the main character because honestly, he was kind of annoying. Where he's like, "Oh God, this guy's so hot. Wonder if he's single." And then like he just kind of getting mad because everyone was like, "Oh, you're with him, I guess." Ugh. It's like, "Oh, you're single? Okay, then whatever." But yeah, like it would have been funny if that whole scene where he's like I'm gonna sneak up to you and then like stab you. If Robbie was like, "Yeah, I know you're lying to me," then he like just shoots him. That would have been fun or funnier, I guess. But that's just me. I'm not really into the sort of idiot, um, just kind of obsessed into the other characters type of character who's like really. Uh. But anyways, it would have also been funny if it had been like, oh, but they never actually found Robbie's body after the police came and rescued us or whatever. And then it'd been like Limelight 2. So it'd have been like Scream 2 and, whatever. But yeah, it was a fun little. It did feel kind of like Scream in a way because immediately when the other guy's body disappears, like, wait a minute, this feels like Scream. And I was fully expecting there to be two killers, one being David, the other one being Robbie. But okay. I mean, there were two killers. One was the theater owner who was just killed off screen. And of course, there was Robbie. But yeah. Anywho, yeah, anyways, so what did you guys think? Write it down in the comments and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Limelight or any of the other Novembuck entries, you can go down to the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the page with all the Novembuck 2025 entries. It used to be November, but I guess they decided to switch it up to like a deer this time around. And I kind of hope they go back to bears because I don't like deers. I mean, not that I don't like deers, it's just I prefer bears over twinks. Anyways, so yeah. Anywho, if you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member and you get access to these videos earlier because they're going to be, scheduled. So it's like, hey, monthly basis and a form of support. And I go, hey, thank you. Look at all these videos that I have scheduled. You get to watch them earlier. And yeah. But if you can't do that or don't want to do that, you can also, help support through Ko-fi. All form of support is appreciated. So, like and subscribe to the channel or whatever. And yeah, also have a throne. Anyways, so yeah, I guess that's it for now. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.